Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm Sam. I hope all of you are doing well. Today, Google shared an official image of their upcoming flagship phone for 2019 going to be called the Pixel 4. They not only revealed the name, but they shared official images of what the back is going to look like. And this is it. Notice any similarities? Drop a like if you do, or drop a like if you don't, and hit subscribe for more because I want to show you guys this compared to the iPhone 11. So first up, the square camera bump, it jumps right out at you. And you'll notice pretty much immediately that the iPhone 11 leaked prototype, these are not official images from Apple, but they are confirmed to be authentic, versus this official leak from Google. If you slapped an Apple logo on this phone, it would look almost identical to what Apple's doing. Even the arrangement of like the camera lenses and the flash, they're in like a diamond or a triangle formation. What's even more confusing for me is that I've seen a lot of people say, hey, I don't like the way this looks. I wish Apple wasn't going in this direction. Even on the second generation iPhone XR that has also been leaked. Again, not confirmed by Apple, but confirmed to be authentic. These are images of the iPhone XR, and again, Apple's loving the square camera bump. So why would Google, on a design they already know people aren't a super huge fan of, just say, yeah, let's just take it and copy it? I mean, I guess the most ironic part about all this is the fact that neither of these smartphones are out yet. These are purely leaks. Like, Apple could have sent these fake leaks out. These could be fake. They're almost certainly not, but they could be. And Google was just like, you know what? We're going to share an official image of our smartphone just because people have been talking about the square camera bump. And I just don't get how the creativity is this brain dead. I usually am like, Samsung, why are you copying Apple? But out of all the smartphones that have come out in about the past 2 years, I have to give it to Samsung for at least being original. The hole punch cutout hasn't really come to any other devices yet. I remember back in the day, it was so easy to like look at a phone and without even seeing the logo, you could go, that's an iPhone. Or you could look at the first Google Pixel and say, that's the Google Pixel. Or a Samsung phone, that's a Samsung. You could just look at it and tell, even if the branding wasn't there. But in 2019, if you saw this image and I took out the Google logo just for fun, would you say this looks like a Google phone? Or based on what we've seen about the iPhone 11, I would definitely say, wow, we just got a leak of the iPhone 11 official. And that's just not the case here. This is a completely different phone, but I feel like it's targeting the exact same audience. And it gets to a point where, sure, I'm not gonna be that person that's like, well, nobody's ever allowed to copy each other in any capacity. Every idea has to be 100% original and authentic because Apple copies Samsung and Google, Google copies Apple and Samsung. It's like a giant go around each year. Like, everybody's copying each other. That's obvious. It's happened forever. But when it comes to the phone's design itself, like, features are one thing. The point of competition, right, is so that you get features on all the phones you want. So like, here's a perfect example. Feature-wise, the Samsung Galaxy S10 can share audio to 2 different Bluetooth devices. iPhone couldn't do that until AirPods and iOS 13. Now with AirPods and iOS 13, you can split Bluetooth audio to 2 different pairs of AirPods. Like, that's an example of Samsung doing something first. They inspired some competition, and then Apple responded by adding that feature through a software update. That's an example of competition being good for the market as a whole. That's like the general premise of it. Good competition is not seeing what your opponent has done and directly copying it. If you look at the new Google Pixel 4 in comparison to the iPhone 11 prototypes here, where do you see the camera bump? It is in the top left-hand corner. Google could not even be so original as to place the camera bump on a different corner of the phone, or even in the middle of the phone. They had to do exactly what they thought people were familiar with. And this is not fun. This isn't like an exciting phone design. I'm already very skeptical of how it's gonna look in person on the iPhone, and for Google to say, hey, people are probably gonna like this because it looks like an iPhone, I think there's a huge disconnect there between people wanting something unique, a different offering that the competition doesn't have, and one iPhone 11 that runs Android and one iPhone 11 that runs iOS. That is not an exciting place to be. It's just doing exactly what your competitor is doing, but slightly worse and slightly off-brand. And what's so ironic is Google has roasted Apple for years about smartphone design and like removing the headphone jack and for having 2 cameras on the back instead of 1. Because just recently, Google has said the reason our phones still have 1 camera when everyone else has 2 is that they can do everything through software. And that's mostly true. They have done some incredible stuff with like especially their nighttime photography modes. No one has really been able to match up to that just yet. But then for the next year, after saying, no, we don't need an extra camera, to throw an extra camera on the back while simultaneously copying the pre-release iPhone's design, you have to question who is making the calls here and who thinks that this is the direction that a company as large as Google should be going. I mean, I don't know how anyone on the design team could be like, I'm really proud of this. We came up with this on our own. No, you didn't. You just looked at what was already out there and said, let's do the exact same thing. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Do you think this is fun? Do you think this is going to be a good phone? It very well could be. Like, we don't know a lot of the specs, and we haven't also seen the front of the device. Like, it's one thing when a really small company that's making smartphones copies Apple and makes a phone that looks very similar to the iPhone 10. Like, that's been happening since the iPhone has been around. But for Google to make a phone that is exactly what Apple's releasing is just really unfortunate, because I feel like they're already left in the dust on day one, on day zero, when the phone's not even out. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for you in this video. Let me know your thoughts on this down below. What do you think of the new Google Pixel 4 smartphone? Can you believe they officially shared images of it instead of waiting right until the phone came out? Was it a good idea to sort of like crush future leaks? Let me know down below in the comment section. That's all for now. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Hit subscribe for more. I've been Sam, and I'll see all of you in my next video.